stop. Before you tell one more person your business, watch this. Because right now, someone you trust is holding a piece of you they could use to hurt you. Not today, not tomorrow, but one day, when things go wrong between you, they will remember, and they will use it. This isn't about being cold. This isn't about trusting no one. This is about knowing which doors to leave open and which ones to lock forever. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you 5 things you should never tell anyone, no matter how close they feel, no matter how safe it seems, no matter how good the moment feels when you're about to say it. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why the quietest people, the ones who never explain themselves, are often the hardest to break, the hardest to manipulate, and honestly, the hardest to compete with. Stick around till the end, because the 5th one is the one almost nobody talks about, and it might be the most important one on this entire list. Let's get into it. Here's something strange about people. We open up the most to people who haven't earned it yet. A new friend, a new partner, a coworker who seems different from the rest, someone who just gets it right away. We feel a spark of trust within the first few conversations, and boom, we hand them our whole story, our fears, our plans, our pain. Sometimes even things we haven't told our own family. It feels good in the moment. It feels like closeness, like relief, like finally, someone understands. But here's the part nobody tells you. Closeness that happens fast, built on a good feeling, is not the same thing as closeness, built slowly over time, tested through hard moments. And the information you give away, in a rush of excitement, doesn't disappear when the excitement fades. It sits there, filed away, waiting. People change. Friends drift apart, partners become exes, allies become rivals, sometimes without either side even meaning for it to happen. And when that shift happens, they don't forget what you told them in your softest, most open moment. They remember all of it, word for word, sometimes better than you do. Think about someone in your life right now who used to be close to you and isn't anymore. Now ask yourself honestly, what do they still know about you? That answer alone should tell you why this video matters. So let's talk about the 5 things that should stay locked away, no matter how tempting it is to let them out, and exactly why each one is dangerous. 1. Your biggest fear, not your small fears. Not, I don't like spiders, or I hate flying. I'm talking about your real one. The one that sits quietly at 2 a.m. when the room is dark and your mind won't shut off. The fear that you're not good enough, that you'll never be truly loved, that you'll fail in front of everyone who's ever believed in you. When you hand someone your biggest fear, you're not just sharing a feeling, you're handing them a map. A map with a big red X, marking exactly where to push, if they ever want to make you feel small, weak, or out of control. Here's the thing. Most people won't use that map against you. Most people, even the flawed ones, aren't sitting around plotting how to hurt you. But you don't need most people to be safe. You only need one bad breakup, one nasty falling out, one moment of jealousy or anger from someone you trusted, and suddenly, the exact fear you whispered to them in a moment of vulnerability becomes the exact thing thrown back in your face during a fight. Think about how that feels. You open up about something that scares you to your core. They comfort you, they say all the right things, and then 2 years later, in the middle of an argument that has nothing to do with any of this, they bring it up, just to hurt you, just because they know it works. Here's the part that stings the most. The people closest to you already have more power over you than any stranger ever could. A stranger doesn't know where you're soft. A stranger can't find your weak spot in the dark. But someone who knows your deepest fear, they know exactly where to press, exactly how hard, and exactly when it'll hurt the most. So what do you actually do instead? You don't pretend the fear doesn't exist. Pretending never works. It just buries it deeper. You face it. You work through it, quietly. On your own, through journaling, reflection, therapy if you need it, or with someone who has truly, deeply earned the right to hear it. And even then, you watch closely how they treat what you've shared. Do they hold it gently? Or do you notice, even subtly, that they now bring it up a little too often? Because real strength was never about having zero fears. Everyone has fears. Real strength is handling your fears in a way that never turns them into a weapon someone else gets to pick up and use whenever they feel like it. 2. Your next big move. You have an idea, a new job, a business you want to start, a move to a new city. Maybe it's something smaller, but still personal. A goal to change your body, your habits, your whole direction in life. The second that idea forms in your head, you want to tell someone, anyone. You want the, wow, that's amazing reaction. You want someone to get excited with you, to validate that the thing living in your head is actually worth chasing. But here's the open loop nobody warns you about before it's too late. The moment you say your plan out loud, it stops being just yours. It becomes something other people now have opinions about. Two things happen next, and both of them are dangerous in their own way. First, the doubters show up, usually without even realizing they're doing damage. Someone says, "Are you sure about that?" Someone says, "That sounds risky." Someone tells you a story about a person who tried the exact same thing and failed miserably. And even if they mean well, even if they truly love you and just worry, a tiny seed of doubt gets planted in your head. A seed that wasn't there yesterday. A seed that grows every single time you think about your plan. Second, and this one's sneakier, because it doesn't come from bad people, it comes from opportunity. Some people you tell aren't just listening, they're watching. They're quietly taking mental notes. And if your idea is genuinely good, someone with less fear, fewer morals, more resources, or simply faster hands might move on it before you even get the chance to start. This has played out over and over throughout history. The person with the original idea is rarely the one who ends up winning. The person who moves first, quietly, without asking for permission or applause, without announcing anything, that's who usually wins. So here's the move, and it's simple. Stop announcing. Start building. Let your results talk instead of your plans. Nobody can steal a race they didn't even know was happening, and nobody can talk you out of something you never gave them the chance to argue against in the first place. Speak less. Build more. Let the world find out only when it's already done, already real, already something they can't argue with anymore. 3. Your money situation. This one surprises people every time, but it might be the most quietly important one on this whole list. Whether you have a lot of money or very little of it, telling people the exact number changes how they treat you. Not might change it. It does change it. Every single time, in ways you often don't even notice happening. Say you have money. Watch how fast people start expecting you to pay for things. Watch how certain friendships quietly shift, how favors start feeling one-sided, how a little bit of jealousy sneaks in, even from people who genuinely love you and would never admit it out loud. Now flip it completely. Say you're struggling financially. Watch how some people start talking to you just a little differently. A little less respect here. A little less trust there when it comes to big decisions. Some people, even without meaning to, without even realizing they're doing it, start seeing you as less than, simply because of a number. It's not fair. It's not right. But it happens more than anyone wants to admit. Your money was never your worth. But the second people know the exact number, they start doing math on you. And once people start doing math on you, they stop seeing you as a whole person and start seeing you as a situation to manage, someone to lean on for help, or someone to quietly look down on. So what's the wise move here? Keep it quiet. Not because you're hiding something shameful, and not because you're trying to seem mysterious. You keep it quiet because you're protecting something far more valuable, the way people see your character, instead of your bank account balance. Let your actions, your discipline, and your consistency speak for you. Not your numbers. Numbers change constantly. Character doesn't. 4. What's really going on in your relationship? We've all done this one. A fight happens with your partner, your spouse, your best friend, and within the hour, you're on the phone or texting in the group chat, spilling every single detail. It feels good to vent in the moment. It feels like release, like finally getting the weight off your chest. But here's the catch. Nobody sees coming until it's already happened. You forgive. You move on. The relationship heals, sometimes within days. But the person you told everything to, they don't heal alongside you. They remember the fight in full detail. They remember exactly what was said in anger. They remember the version of your relationship at its absolute lowest point. And some part of them keeps seeing it that way, even years later, long after you've forgotten the argument ever happened. What started as one private, messy, emotional moment slowly turns into a permanent story that other people now carry about someone you deeply love. And once that story is out there, circulating, repeated at dinners and phone calls, you cannot call it back. You cannot untell it. This doesn't mean you bottle everything up and suffer in silence. It means you choose carefully. Pick 1 or 2 people who have actually, genuinely earned deep trust. Not everyone in your group chat, not your entire family, not the coworker you vent to out of convenience. Because the actual goal of talking about a conflict should be healing it privately, not performing it publicly, for an audience that will remember the worst version of your relationship forever. Not every argument needs witnesses. Some things are meant to stay between 2 people, worked through with maturity, resolved with patience, and then, quietly, left there, buried where they belong. 5. Exactly how you think. This is the one people miss completely, and it might genuinely be the most powerful one on this whole list. I'm not talking about your secrets anymore. I'm talking about your patterns. How you react when someone criticizes you in front of others. What makes you shut down completely? What makes you cave under pressure? how you handle stress, how you actually make your big decisions behind closed doors. Here's the twist that changes everything. The moment someone fully understands how your mind works, they can predict you. And the moment someone can predict you accurately, they can start shaping situations to get the exact reaction they want out of you, almost like pulling a string and watching you move. Think about it carefully. Someone who knows you hate confrontation will slowly, patiently push more and more boundaries because they already know you won't push back. Someone who knows exactly what makes you defensive will bring that topic up at precisely the moment they need you distracted, off balance, or too emotional to think clearly. This isn't some rare cartoon villain manipulation tactic. It's just what people naturally do, consciously or not, the moment they've fully figured you out. The people who are hardest to shake, hardest to manipulate, hardest to control in any relationship or negotiation, they're rarely the loudest people in the room. They're the ones nobody can quite read completely. Calm under pressure, steady in a storm, a little bit unpredictable, in the very best way, because they never explain every single move before they make it. That doesn't mean being fake or cold or distant. It means you don't have to explain every single thought behind every single decision you make. Let your actions show your character over time. Let your results show your intelligence without a single word of explanation attached. But keep the why, the actual machinery behind your choices, just a little bit private, a little bit yours and yours alone. Because the less people can accurately predict you, the less they can quietly move against you when it matters most. Let's recap real quick, because all 5 of these connect into one bigger idea. Your biggest fear, keep it for people who've truly earned the right to hold it gently, and even then, watch closely. Your next big move, build it quietly, in silence, before you ever announce it to a single soul. Your money situation, let your character speak louder than any number ever could. Your relationship struggles, protect the story other people will carry about someone you love, long after you've forgiven them. And exactly how you think, stay just a little bit unreadable, even to the people closest to you. None of this means becoming cold, secretive, or completely shut off from the people in your life. It means being thoughtful, intentional, and selective about who gets access to the parts of you that could one day be used against you. Trust is still important. Closeness is still important. But real trust should be earned slowly, tested over time, through hard moments, not handed out instantly the second someone makes you feel warm and comfortable. The strongest people you will ever meet in your life aren't the ones who share absolutely everything with anyone who'll listen. They're the ones who share on purpose, with intention, calm, selective, fully in control of their own story, and who gets to hear which parts of it. So here's a question before you go, and I actually want you to sit with it for a second. Which one of these 5 have you been giving away too easily, to people who probably haven't earned it yet? Drop it in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious how many of us have made the exact same mistake without even realizing it in the moment. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss it, and I'll see you in the next video.